Hi again, this is Malabika with my Corona video blog. Today is 19th of March 2020 and I feel a bit more cheerful than yesterday. Don't know why though. The situation in Sweden is pretty much the same as before. Severe restrictions but still short of a total lockdown. Maybe it's the bright sunshine and the glorious weather outside which uplifts my mood. I went out for a short stroll today in the nearby woods. I went right after my daughter left for her school at 8 a.m. and I was back just before 9. Hardly met anyone except for a couple of dog walkers who were, by the way more than 1 meter apart. So I hope the fresh air and the vibrant nature just spread happiness and not disease. I logged into my office network at around 9 o'clock and carried on as usual. The new usual, that is. I had Skype meetings, replied to mails, prepared the documents, business as usual. A couple of days back, our CEO had an all-staff video call which he apparently delivered from his kitchen table at home. A nice serene lake and wooded area at a distance and him sitting with a half-empty, or should I say half-full glass of water and a coffee mug. But the whole thing looked so staged. No fault of him though, he is a quite nice bloke. I had a brief chance of working directly with him and I found him very friendly and approachable. But most likely the PR and comms guys wanted to do some subtle enhancements. I mean, who wears an impeccably ironed shirt which also happens to match perfectly with the tulips in the vase and orchids on the windowsill while working from home? I don't know, maybe the top executives do, but for lesser mortals like us, it would be two screaming children and a barking dog in the background while the spouse in another call trying to shush us. Just as I discussed with my colleague from Oslo the other day, he was also commenting on the difficulty of being productive despite being together with his 2 teenage sons and a wife who is also working from home under the same roof. He mentioned that the unusually warm weather this year and his big garden is proving to be a big blessing. Well, I'm also blessed with a very big garden and I just love being there. But it is still too cold to sit outside there and work without freezing to death. It is really good that the schools are open. As another colleague of mine, Jenny, was saying, she has 2 kids under 5 and if the daycare were not open, it would have been really difficult for her and her husband to focus on their respective jobs. Children have this uncanny ability to pick the most difficult moment to seek attention. In the meantime, I looked at the corona news. I mean, how could I not? And I find it a bit mixed. There are some early signs of containment in China with no new domestic cases. On the other hand, the situation in Italy looks like totally out of control. I mean, 500 deaths in one day? Seriously? It is absolutely necessary that they get a grip. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how well we do here in Northern Europe. It is still going to hit us hard. And what happens when the borders are reopened and is basically anybody's game. Let's see. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. On the other hand, it seems my food cupboard is well stocked. So no need to visit any shopping center today. But perhaps I will have to top up a few perishable items over the weekend. I mean, I'm not buying fresh meat and vegetables in large quantities as I don't have the capacity to store them in bulk. Neither am I relying on canned or tinned food. So far, the local shops have had enough stocks to provide for my modest and regular needs, and I prefer to cook with fresh ingredients. Some of our friends are, of course, warning us against our casual approach, but in our opinion, we are just being sensible without panicking. Always a tricky balance, isn't it? Are we wrong? Only time will tell.